So when did you come up with the idea for the video at all? Way back then?
3 years ago.
Finished 3 years? You have a novel backing it up?
Screenplay.
Couple 3 novels, erotic,
I got,
comedy.
Novel. I only have 1 novel, but I've written a trilogy to Smokehouse Curse.
Okay. Now this takes place. The storyline of the video itself is where in the storyline for the trilogy? Beginning, the middle, or mostly the action part?
Neither.
Okay.
And the actual movie is California setting.
Okay.
Barney Pilgrim, which Michael Lush said he had tried to get here, but he's working. Mm-hmm. He's out in Waterford. Mm-hmm. Killed his whole family and smoked them.
Okay.
And the posse ended up killing him. So he's been a wraith since 1940 in California.
Oh. Okay.
So, and then it goes up to present where the wraiths are. Whoever comes on that stretch of land is cursed. The dirt is cursed, which is in the song, and they were drilling to expand the smokehouse and release them.
Okay. All right. Okay, so it was all this time that the smokehouse was nearby, but not right on the site.
It's a house, and then the smokehouse is out here, and everyone who lives in that house gets killed. Because the wraiths, Barney he's the only one powerful enough to come up and actually...
All the way up until that point, they were basically at peace and dormant, and nothing was happening because it was just a wood
for a span of years, yeah.
All right. So, throughout the video or throughout the film or throughout any of the media projects, you're probably going to have references back to the 40s,
Oh, yeah, because when we go over to Ray Kazor's house, remember in West Bloomfield? Okay. He's the professor. He's going to say, ancient evil is here.
Yeah, right here.
The dirt is cursed.
Here.
Right.
Yeah, the dirt is cursed.
That's in the song.
Okay.
So he'll be pointing to Smokehouse. He'll be pointing to cursed wooded area, Indian tribes, because this started out as a cursed Indian burial ground.
Okay.
The Indians are the one that brought the wraiths because the Vikings invaded them. Eric the Red, when he was 60 years old, did his maiden voyage.
Made it to California?
Yeah.
No shit.
Historically, nobody knows where he went. Now, the fictional part comes where he came across America, and they say, man, sail around the finger. So he sails around Florida, and they all sweat, and, they say, you got to make it to the floating ships. The floating ships are UFOs. They help catapult them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to go from Caribbean go from Mexico to the Pacific. So they get over there and they come across California and all those Indians, and the Indians are friendly and wave just like they did Columbus.
For the moment, for a little while.
And Eric the Red and them just raided them like the Vikings did. Slaughtered the whole tribe. I used the actual tribe name.
Oh, okay.
From back in, this happened in, he was 60 years old in 1007. So this is when this happened. It wasn't called California, of course.
Of course not, no.
Over in that area, but he invaded and killed all the Indians, and to stop Eric the Red, they conjured up the spirits of revenge. That's what race.
Sequoia tribe, is it? Not Sequoia? Because those are Northern California that I remember. Named the trees after them, all the redwoods.
These are the tribe it was a pretty large area they had now where present day Monterey is.
That is Northern California.
Yeah. So it could be, but I got the actual name off the, from the history of California.
Right. I realized that I should turn that. I just wanted to make sure that this is going to work. Like some movie. Okay, I'll run through the...
So, that's part 2. Part 2 is the prequel. It goes all the way back to how it's established. Part 3 comes back up to present day and how Barney and them are spreading. The Reverend Four and this girl from the first one had to figure out how to stop them.
Okay. It's not a nationwide chase, is it? It stays in California?
It stays in California, but they branch out from that one town
Okay. Yeah.
They branch out, covering northern and southern California. That's where the evil choir comes in, because they summoned in the choir director to deal with these pesky reverends. They have power of voice inflection, where when all four of them hit the same note, it will dissipate any spirits. And that's in part one, yeah. But it won't drive them out. It's like you'll see them go in the little...
It has an effect. It just kind of disintegrates.
Right.
Or it, disrupts them.
Right. Because race can materialize at will. But when they hit that note, they go ethereal.
But they'll come back. They can come back.
They can come back, yeah. Right. But they can't bother you ethereal. You know,
But if they're...
unless they touch you physically.
What happens?
Then they suck you. They'll suck your soul right out of you.
Now, in the video, you're going to have a good portion of gore. You're talking about basically Barney and the axe, and the history of the mutilations that happen. So you don't necessarily have... You have both. You have the wraiths that are spiritually sucking energy out of their victims, but there's also a fair bit of the bloody
or the powerful ones can possess you and cause you to use your axe to kill your family.
Okay, so are there going to be subjects in this piece where people are actually going to be possessed and acting violently and killing people first off,
right?
Instead of just succumbing directly to the wraiths,
right?
Wraiths on the material plane, possessed.
Yeah, the weaker ones need a human vessel.
Oh, so they have to be the weak ones. If you're strong enough, you don't need a body.
Right.
And if you're weaker, you have to use
the body to cut through.
You have to possess a body. All right. That makes plenty of sense that way.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking, we have the auditioners here that are under 14, and I had this bizarre, Les Mis vision of a kid who basically, with the whole dark eyes and all that, I mean, the whole cassette look, almost goth, but not really old enough, and my imagining of it was either a wraith or a possessed child, something like that. So I was like, if she shows up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her right at the camera, and I'm going to have her try to look as evil as she can.
Okay.
You know how people will tilt their head and have their eye look up at the camera across their brow? That really looks really...
Now, if she's from a weaker one, it would be just her eyes that you can notice that are turning maybe down, her nose like a little... they're beginning to blacken, but they not all the way.
In general, they kind of look unhealthy, unwell.
Right.
Something like asleep.
Right.
Everything very dark under the eyelids.
Right.
Black eyelids. Yeah. So, I mean, on top of that, on top of the original makeup, I figure if kids are really, really the younger adults are in on it, I want to experiment with to see how mean and evil a kid can actually look.
Right.
Because anymore, I see teenagers, 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds that try to look tough, try to look all goth. They have the black T-shirt and nose rings and stuff like that, but that isn't really that threatening. What looks threatening is when they're looking at you with those eyes that are like,
black and beady and...
Oh, yeah, really, really small and, not really attentive, but they're just on their own plane. So trying to get that across is going to be pretty interesting. Outside of makeup, without it, you can accomplish a bunch with makeup, but unless you're willing to do prosthetics like latex and missing fingers and stuff like that, if you're going to do that,
no.
You're not going to have the walking injury in this, because it's not zombies.
No, they're not zombies.
Yeah, the major differences between zombies and wraiths.
And see, they can float. So, if you want a truck and we get a
dark enough background, have the subjects basically
right.
on a chair.
Especially Barney. Barney is super powerful now. Mm-hmm. So he'll be able to, he can manifest and use magic and stuff, use the force like levitation and
Now, the great thing about somebody who has a lot of power is you can basically have them do anything. It doesn't necessarily mean lifting a bus or anything, but somebody who looks awesome and fear-inspiring and big and massive and even still moves slow, but you have them they're moving their hands and gesturing and speaking slowly. But when it comes time for them to act, or to grab somebody's soul or to get hold of somebody or grapple somebody, they move too fast, almost supernaturally fast.
Right.
And that's really easy to take up and work on in post-production. Also, camera. Optically, you can move the camera very quickly. So, as an example, if you have him reaching for somebody's throat, you can have the camera set a ways, maybe a yard away from his hand or his shoulder, and as he's moving his hand, you could physically move the camera past his hand, so he looks like he's moving extremely fast at the same time. So there's some people that just set things, and I've seen a couple of made in Japan zombie movies, and a couple of other things that were basically all they do is they speed up the film so people move faster, and it really looks corny.
28 days got on my nerves.
It was all digital.
It got on my nerves.
You could see every.
I hate that when the camera does this all day. Well, I hate that crap.
28 days later,
they started that.
They could have done. Oh yeah, I mean it's almost like the hand-mounted camera type thing. There's that and that Cloverfield. They said Cloverfield was.
Yeah, they did. They had
lots of people running around with cell phones.
And the camera was doing this all through Cloverfield, shaking.
I can't stand. There's that, and there's the standard. The way filming is done, very stable. When you have the nice clean footage like we have right here that we're making, and in between is the stuff where you process. You do it in post. You can do it artfully. You can do none at all. I mean, there's bunches where you have establishing shots that don't move at all. All there is a shot of the skyline, and all that you see in the shot for 5-10 seconds.
Now, the second, if you want to play the CD, I can. Since we got a little time, I can go over.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what we could essentially do is, if we can use that as kind of a time signature on it, since we're taking audio right now.
The second one on there, what I envision, because it's like 5 seconds, it's real quick. You're not going to understand it, but when he says, "Look at the lights over there by the graveyard," and it's going to be flickering yellow lights, almost like a down a Hart Plaza.
This one?
No. That's it, Barney's. And it's going to like you would hear in the fireworks. I mean, I went to a real studio and had.
Oh, okay.
And it's done. I tried to make the intro as haunting. I mean, it's going to be up there with anything that.
If you have high production quality on the audio, that's 3/4 of the game. Because that basically establishes your level of.
See this. That's the transformation.
Okay, so a 3 second dissolve to the
until Pam and them talking.
Okay, the setting.
All right. Here's the lightning.
All right, I walked up the back stairway, not the front one.
Now your choreographer, this is the setup to Barney's song where you pan Barney and go all the way through and catch everybody just, like the dead awakening type thing.
Now how that's staged is you're going to have Barney in the middle, on either side a couple of women, and other people basically are staging themselves.
Right.
Okay,
so that's the outside now.
Circular pan across the yard where everybody's established. They're all participating in a coordinated, or call it a line dance, but a coordinated choreography.
At this point,
there's going to be a little bit of dwell for each character.
Right.
And here you're basically up on Barney
and his women.
Okay. And Barney's got a cellist who's in the background, who's doing the beginning portion. So I'd imagine that you're starting with.
I wanted to, but I don't know if I can find one. It's like the pianist. I wanted to get the mad pianist in there.
Not impossible.
If I can get it, that's cool because he starts.
Right. Where'd you get stuff? Sleeburgers, cheeseburgers. Yep. That's where I came out here last week.
Now the part where he says, "Come out and play with me," the women got to rub on them like.
Last night you were thinking, twins. That's what you were thinking.
This is where they're doing their dance now.
All moving pretty much in silence.
Right.
Because, all I have for source material
Except,
is Thriller.
oh yeah, they moving in silence, but
Now, every once in a while you're going to have a cutaway to one
the
or two.
unholy ghosts,
Yeah.
they're going to be in all white. Ooh,
Okay, and there
like
are
Martin.
background voices that come in and go during this trip.
Yeah.
All right. Now there's a choir, a background choir. At least 3 people, all basically dressed in the same as a church choir.
Right. No, but all white, face painted white. See, you're there.
Okay.
You're doing modern jazz, modern dance. And then the evil choirs come up like they're walking like almost zombie-ish.
Almost, but a little bit more, together.
Right.
Not like they're missing limbs, balance, or just not quite in control. So I think that's a big difference between the zombie and the wraith.
Well, yeah.
The zombie is going to basically have practically no control over anything but walking and biting.
Right.
And a wraith can do anything, but especially look, glower, move slow, and just be really. That's like the what do you call it? More choreography into it, more coordinated stuff, more meaningful.
Now see, I did 4 separate tracks.
Okay.
I'm doing all the voices.
All right.
So we need each one of them to emulate that part.
Okay. That makes sense. You're going to cut away back and forth with Frank. One or the other. It was
Gilbert.
Gilbert is going to be in the graveyard.
Yes.
He's witnessing all of this.
Right.
So most of the time it's his point of view, but you're going to wrap back to Gilbert.
His reaction.
Yeah, reacting to this. He stumbles a couple of times, but also...
See, right now, he's slipping and falling.
Yeah, and you tell to the other side of the graveyard, same thing. He's basically...
So when he finally stands up, bolt of lightning. He's standing up now. Get ready.
With the bolt of lightning, you basically show you're illuminating everybody in the graveyard. You can see everybody basically where they are.
Then he gets up and runs, and this is where this run chase sequence comes. He's booking down the street, running full. He's terrified. I want to see the tear in his face. This is the.
Now there are parts. There are
cemetery down the road.
Which one?
Cedar Creek? It's on Cass Road.
That's the one you took me to, wasn't it? By the sheriff's?
I think so. I came in Cass. And this thing has a section that is all veterans with the white veterans, military stones, and then it's got all the tall monuments. It's got a black...
No, the one you took me to was St. Peter's, St. something.
Oh, this one is Cedar something, and it's right on Cass Road.
I would love to actually I would love to use an actual cemetery.
Yeah, with the big stuff.
But the permission thing is...
We've got... that's one of the coolest things over at Oak Hill in Pontiac. It's the fact that it's on a rise so that you can see gravestones and memorials all the way up to the horizon from some spots. So you don't have to move the camera at all. You can just see it's just an amazing, like a panorama.
Well, this one on Cass Road is pretty
Can we get permission? Well, that's the thing. I don't care.
Hell,
I just want it gothic. I don't want to.
Oh, it's gothic, all right. I'd go ask them because they've got a black wrought iron fence around it, and the lettering is in gold that spells out the name of it, which you probably wouldn't want the cemetery name, but the monuments are just on rows, and it's like, wow.
There's plenty of graveyards in the world. We have to find a way to shoot them so that they're nice and dense looking. Right. But where
that comes into play is the steel. Remember I was telling you about it because I say in the news, or whoever's going to say it in the news report is their hearts were torn from the chest. Still of that couple laying on the ground.
Right.
Graveyard behind them. They laying there.
I have to caution you, this could be graphic.
Yeah.
Graphic. I have to caution our audience because what we are about to see is going to be graphic. You may not.
In a disturbing nature.
This could be of a disturbing nature. This is the newscast.
Are you the newscaster, dude?
What's that?
Are you the newscaster?
I'm the interviewer. See,
and slightly sexual, because you see what the newscaster
it
did.
can't not be, because if you're talking modern dance,
Right.
it's going to be. And this is the thing, too, because I posted on After the Access, or on Breakdown Services, and it was like, you got to put your phone number down if there's any nudity at all. And I'm like, well, there's probably going to be nudity. Yeah, I'll put my phone number down.
The only nudity is the strippers. And they're going to be in booty shorts. They're not going to be G-string.
Right. I was told. I told these guys because it was just basically a queer.
Oh, the big-chested girl leaning over with the cleavage.
I was worried. They were worried that did the male leads have to be naked? I said no, they don't have to be naked. It's going to be kind of a racy, like you were saying, a couple of cameo shots where people are basically in a party scene. They're not going to be the primary. It's not even going to be. You're going to have something on the order of as innocent as, Titanic, stuff like that. Lots of slow-moving stuff, but nothing that's really provocative for the people. I said none of the speaking parts have anything really serious.
No.
None.
No.
So, you have a couple. You have your goth couple that's basically making out in the graveyard. Where
they're kissing and they're clothed. Yeah.
They're snogging.
They're snugging. They're snugging.
Because he points to the wicked. So they have to be. They can't be just. Well, they got to be.
Got to do the dirty dancing thing there.
No kissy. So what's your statement in the video? Are you basically lining up all the people who dissed you in high school? That's what happened. That's how I got into doing this.
No, I was just thinking about it as I saw it.
All right. I want you to be to the point where everybody's going, get a room already.
Right. Exactly. Like what you saw at the festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Folks standing in line waiting, it was grinding and squeezing.
So you have a minute and a half of a chase scene where Gilbert is running down the street being chased by wraiths. And that
should be 30 seconds.
30 seconds or so. Yeah, about a minute. And that's this track right here. Pretty sure. No?
5. Yeah.
And it's a nice fast rock.
Right.
Rock there.
See, I want that to be at the clubhouse because he's going to jump over our water fountain and, get into his car and turn around. Look, when it ends, he's going to turn around. And then I want to record live him getting in the car and squealing away.
Okay. So he'll be on wheels for a time.
Yeah.
Then he catches up with Frank and Pam.
In the front. He comes out the front, parks, comes in.
Okay.
And that's when he says, "Here they come!" Because as he's coming in, he looks, he sees the
raids in the air too. They're basically swooping in, following people, following him. So that's basically where they're taking their cues. They're just chasing him down.
Right.
I mean, do they have an overall plan? Are they heading for? I don't know why it's doing that. I hit pause and stop.
Well, Barney says in Act 2 when he comes in, "I don't want any witnesses." So he sends somebody out in case somebody leaves, because that's what he's been doing all along.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that's why they chased him to this location.
Okay, so he was doing a soliloquy. It was basically he had everybody gathered around here, and all of a sudden it's spoiled by people who were basically watching. But he already knew that the goth folks, the two, were going to be done.
They are already possessed.
So nobody can leave. Nobody can leave alive, and that's why they went after Frank or Gilbert. Frank and Pam are already in the party trying to have a good time. Well, eventually they get lured in.
They're standing up in the foyer when he comes in. "Here they come! Run!" And he books up the steps and leaves them there.
They were about to leave the party, right?
No, they're just coming.
Oh, they were just coming?
They were talking to a group in there. "Hey, man, what is this party about?"
Right. Well, I mean, from the treatment, it sounded like they didn't know whether or not they were going in. But they turned around and there's Gilbert right there.
Well, they didn't know.
So I looked at it as either, they were chased back into the building because they knew it wasn't safe outside, or they were on their way in anyway, and then because that's what you wonder about when you get these shots where these two are heading into the building, and I guess it would be Gilbert coming up behind them.
Right, he'll pull in real fast, get out, see the yellow flickers, see them in the air, and come in. "Here they come! Run!" And he goes up the step, and he leaves them there, and they looking at each other like, "What?" And then all of a sudden,
I could see the glow happening around the doorway as they're basically knowing that something is going to happen, and they all turn around and go into the building. And at that same time, whenever that happens, you could have a wraith attack pretty much starting with them taking out somebody out on the street, like maybe the person who told them, the man and the woman who were speaking in the first place, either they were on their way out or they were trying to get them to come in the door.
Okay.
There's got to be somebody outside the building too.
Okay.
So that can break down into a shot of the street level with the sidewalk with people that you recognize because they were saying something on their way out of the building, and they would be absolutely the first victims out there outside the building.
Right.
And from that moment on, you can see the Wraiths basically homing in on the open door and taking over the inside of the office. But the great thing about it is,
and that's where your first green screen come in, because instead of opening the door, they're going to go through the door.
Through the door. Yes. Okay. Right. So yeah, I mean, basically they come in and they say, "All right, we're going to shut the door. We'll be safe." But no, it's just
and they keep the Wraiths outside and watching anybody leave.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And take them off. Right. But in the meantime, they get people come in through the door also and just go through the entire building.
Right.
Okay. And that is how you make it something that's filmed indoors have a larger scope by establishing it as happening inside a building that's surrounded by Wraiths. So that much is already established now.
Right.
So it's a much, much bigger film than just, that's how they managed to get through that feeling through in things like Die Hard, where things happen inside an office building and you don't necessarily have to photograph the outside of the city and people running through the city. You just picture the city and then people running around inside an office building. So that makes things pretty efficient that way. So yeah, when you put it in a setting like that inside an office party, you can get done with almost half of the footage needed for this sort of stuff. And the effects footage with people basically levitating.
And everybody say, well, this is not a normal party take place, but we established that upstairs. Channel 7, it's a news, it's corporate.
Right, a corporate party. And you know what happens at the corporate parties stays in the corporate parties. And this is better because...
That's why in there I want to use Matt's poll. He said he had he said they had a poll.
The lighted poll. Right. That makes plenty of sense. So that's a good way to get things started. Nice choreography up until then. Now, you are going to have kind of a sultry, haunting dance for all of the Wraiths that are surrounding Barney at the opening sequence. Starting
the 3 women.
Now, they're not all climbing out of the grave. They're all basically just hanging around the graveyard.
They're just there. They're flitting back and forth. Right.
Kind of in a coordinated fashion. And that's what Jan's going to basically be ending up doing.
Except for Wolfman Mac, if I can get him, or whoever the Wolfman is, he's on a pile of dead bodies eating.
Yeah. That would be a great cameo.
Yeah.
See, he's taping around the corner. I mean, I should get hold of him. Yeah. I mean, we had him host. It's Frank Kelly. Or Matt Kelly. Yeah.
Because it's a part at the end of Barney where he says, oh!
Right. Track. You have a 60th track here?
No. That should be 4.
When I play it, it started up to play track 1 over again. I didn't realize it's just repeating. And I have the rest of that on MP3, so that's cool. So the Wraith attack commences through the building.
Right.
People get wasted. People get wiped out.
We can't use the reception desk. I was told that as soon as I came here, so I use that office right to the left. That's where they're gonna go.
The board area too. So that's a good start.
No, I mean upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
Upstairs there's an office right off the double doors. So that's where Pam and Frank are gonna run around and hide. Because remember, I had them where they hide behind the reception desk. I can't do that now, so they gotta go around the corner and hide in that office.
Right. What did they have against the reception desk?
They don't want us. They had somebody back there, and they rambled through their office and took stuff.
Oh no! On their watch too, so that's like, okay, this isn't going to happen again.
Right.
Same old thing. So tell me, they filmed here during the other projects that were done here. That's basically how you found out this was available, or
I was one of the zombie-like creatures in Nathan's film.
All right, that's right.
Yeah, but we used upstairs, and what we did was just run around that whole hallway, chasing after the guards.
Did you film in a whole bunch of different places, or I mean, did you know whether they were in a bunch of different locations?
Oh yeah, they've been in a bunch of locations.
Yourself, you had to go to a bunch of them?
Oh, me, yeah, as an actor, yeah.
Okay. Did you go to all of them, even though you weren't in some of them?
if I went, they put me in it.
Oh, okay. That's basically how they put that together.
Yeah, like the 200-day war that you saw.
Yeah.
That was out in 26 Mile going towards Marine City. And so there's a factory out there that they let Nathan use for the shoot. It was huge. It was like a real studio. But, it had all the stuff in it. But,
bunch of different places that are
like that. Now, he shot all over.
Now, I'm going down to Russell Bazaar after this at 6 o'clock, 6:30. I guess they're going to be meeting with Diane and all the people who are doing the zombie movie. And I was doing props, but I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard a lot from them.
When it's the actress call, I go out for it.
It's right out there. It's right down there at T1 NBC on Clay Street. So, yeah, go out and do that. I can't because I'll be on a plane. Or no, I'll be trucking out to Atlanta. So now, you have in mind to film exterior outside at the graveyard, if at all possible. We could green screen a lot of that in and choreograph.
See, I want to keep it the way I have it. I want to keep Act 1 at the clubhouse. It's like, you got to see it. It's a Levine, but it looks New Orleans-ish.
Yeah, you have
with the
stuff with really droopy branches and stuff, and it's kind of nice. It's a sweaty looking exterior. So.
And we use the graveyard. All I need is a still from the graveyard with them laying out in front of it. Heart torn from the chest. That's all I need from the graveyard.
Which way is the car?
Go up the stairwell. You turn to your right.
Okay. I don't want a ticket. I don't want a ticket.
I'll just drive around town until I find the parking spot that's not just park. I'll run back. In Pontiac, you can park anyway. They won't ticket you. There's not enough people to put tickets on the cars. So they got meters there, and they'll say, "Oh, we'll ticket you," but they don't. They never do.
They do around here real quick.
Yeah, in a hurry. I hear.
Yeah,
that's what I hear. Well, they got to take advantage of that. That's how they pay for all the stuff that happens outside. Yeah. Music festivals, all taxes and parking fees. I mean, I thought about it. I really thought hard about it. I'm like, why do people charge so much for parking downtown? In the real world, where towns actually work, you don't drive there. You walk. You basically find someplace to park outdoors or nearby and walk the rest of the way. And it's free if you do it that way. And that's how I managed to do that in Pontiac during the Arts Beats Neats Festival. Everybody was paying $6 for 3 hours. I parked over at the elementary school, not an eighth of a mile away, empty parking. It's because people would rather pay to have somebody watch their car than walk away from it, walk 1,000 feet where somebody's not taking care of the car.
Well, I don't blame them though, especially like inside Detroit. That makes sense.
In Pontiac, it doesn't seem like it's having any trouble. It's just the reputation's just floating around outside of the city itself. I'm there almost a couple, 3 days a week downtown. And our city, or our subdivision is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Nothing wrong with it. A couple houses for sale. That's about it.
Yeah,
we're right down the street from one of the most popular gas stations to be held up and robbed, and that hasn't been done. That hasn't happened in a long time, many years. So,
I have some lifesaver gummies.
Are they the salty kinds?
No, they're not salty.
All right, I'll take the salty. As long as they're not the ones with the fruit, the sprinkles on them.
Oh no,
tart stuff.
No, those sours, I can't stand that.
Oh yeah, that's what they are. The sour ones. So what's the next plan? More music videos? A few more?
Well, after this, I'm going to do my erotic comedy.
That's right. Okay, you're going to be working on more movie stuff.
Right. Because I want to bring all this. We're going to have adult period doing smack. And I want to bring Dirty Shorts out, too.
Oh, that's right. Are you producing Dirty Shorts during the spring or in the wintertime, or are you trying to get people together to do that during the year leading up to Smack?
Both. I'll be doing it, most of it.
So you'll be in the middle of that while you're...
Right.
Okay.
That's why I'm going to get this one done. Get on the editing.
Get all the editing out of the way. Have that done before the snow flies at the very least.
Right.
Something on the DVD. Something produced, etc.
Right.
Now, music, how did that come together? You ran into people who basically wanted to get stuff tracked, recorded, or
music. I've been writing since '94.
Okay. Now the final track for the Curse video that is going to be, you're going to have. Are you going to have different performers? You're going to be having different performer doing the parts during Barney's song, etc., and all of the background. Because you say you have 4 tracks laid over right now as a sample.
Well, they're not actually singing it; they'll be pantomiming.
Oh, they'll be pantomiming. Okay, I understand. That makes sense.
That's why they had to practice. Because some I'm just sound like I'm Russian, you know. Other like man, you know, the Broadway. And then the other one, do what you gotta do. You know.
But all rates.
Right.
They're all rates with different characters.
Like Ghostbusters type deal.
No.
So I want them to practice pantomime so they can. It's like they're singing, but they're not. It's just we see the mouth in the
Are you
action.
actually going to have people audition for the part of Barney? Or are you
I got one guy in mind for it, but if somebody else can beat them.
Right. So, I mean, this is what basically ends up happening is you get things on the schedule.
He's
make your final decisions after you've seen enough people.
Right. He's a good actor, so, you know, he's dressed up as Barney in conventions for me, you know. So I know you got to have a beard.
Okay.
Play Barney, you got to, because that's the character, you know. He's a comic character and everything. And you got to be a badass, and this guy, he exudes being a badass. He's not built or nothing, but Barney wasn't really built back in the day. He just got that cocky, like I'll hack you with this axe. You know, what, woman? You didn't cook me no dinner? Chop.
Goes with an attitude.
Because in part 2, when I showed Barney when he was younger, his friend got mauled by a bear, and then he got possessed by a wraith, and his body was rotting in front of his wife's eyes, but he wanted to make love to her. You know, and maggots coming out. You're like, oh,
this is why we do stuff like this.
You don't want to make love to me. You rather go downtown and do all the town folks. She wanted to say, and she was fooling around with Grossman. And Grossman, back when he was skinny, had a love affair with her. And Melvin hired Barney to be his eyes and ears and protect his wife against.
That by itself, that whole segment, the flashback segment, sounds like it would be a complete story all on its own. It sounds like Barney carries the whole thing because it's almost, it is. It's a biographical story.
Right. It shows how he got hooked. You know, it starts with the Vikings and how the whole thing started, and it goes up to 1940 California.
Mm-hmm. Where they bury him, they think that's that. But.
Right. Because Melvin ends up killing his wife, and he has Barney Smoker, and that's what got him into. He walked up, he knew this. He saw his wife sit on the porch from a distance. Remember, this is California, so it had a lot of trees and stuff. And he's sitting there watching them kiss on the porch. He wait till they go upstairs. He see the light on in the bedroom. He gets his axe, wipes it off, just slow, like Jack Nicholson. You know, walked up the stairs.
Whistling on his way through the doors.
And there they are in bed, and he says, "Oh, don't bother to get up. I got an axe for you." Yeah.
I don't mind a fountain. I'll be right back.
I definitely want to see this. It's going to be good. Sounds like something really good.
That's part 2, though.
Oh, okay.
We got to get past part 1.
Yeah. You got 3 parts to it.
It's a trilogy, yeah.
Oh.